Hello, good afternoon, this is Diecast Loon. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to that episode of the weekly premium, as I've been doing for the last couple of 3 weeks now, or 4 weeks, whatever it is. I can't remember exactly how long I've been doing this now. I've been unboxing and showing new premium pieces, and this week's going to be no different. I'm going to be unboxing a piece from Johnny Lightning. I'm going to be unboxing this 1978 Ford Mustang Cobra 2, which is, or looks quite a cool piece. So I'm going to be unboxing that shortly, but I thought before I unbox it, I would show a couple more from my collection, a couple of my favourite pieces. I've got quite the Mustang collection, like most of us. I'm a relatively big Mustang fan. I don't know how many Mustangs I've got in my collection. I've probably got about 20 pieces in my collection, maybe 25. But I've picked out a couple of pieces that I just really like. So I thought I'd show them first, and also show a few archive pictures from the archive, so to speak, online pictures showing the transition into the Mustang 2, and then we'll do the unboxing after that. So it's not been an overly long video, but anyway, we'll get straight into it, and I'll show one of my favourite Mustangs. So the earliest one shown today is this from Greenlight, and it is the 1967 Ford Mustang Coupe. So obviously it's not the fastback, sorry. And this actual piece, like a lot of my cars, is from the is a movie car, and this particular one I believe is from the TV series The Walking Dead. So there you go, it's got the little message. If you follow the Walking Dead series, you'll know exactly what I'm on about. For those of you who don't, this is in a scene of The Walking Dead, and they're looking for a little girl called Sophia. Is it Sophia? So they leave this little bit of writing with some food on the end of the car in case she comes back that way. They get separated from her. But I mean, obviously I got this not just because I'm a fan of The Walking Dead, but because obviously just thought this was a really cool casting. You don't see a massive amount. You see more fastbacks than you do coupes. And like I said, this is a great car. Obviously it's got some weathering on it, so it adds to the realism. And there is the underneath, so there you go, 67 Ford Mustang. And it looks like it's got 4 tailpipes. And it has got some underbonnet detail. I can get it up, there you go, get the bonnet open, I mean. So that is that piece from Greenlight. So the next piece is the same year. Again, it is from Greenlight, and this is also from a movie. This is the famous or fabled Eleanor, but I think this was based on originally. I think this was based on a Shelby GT, but it's a very, very cool car. And again, I just like this piece. Like I said, I've got quite a few Mustangs in my collection. Quite a few of them are premiums. But I just really like this piece. So it's very, very cool. As you can see, it's got underbonnet details. And again, these two aren't far off the same size. I'm not on about scale now. I mean, I believe Greenlight is pretty much spot on for accurate scale of 164 scale, sorry. But obviously this one is a fastback and this one is the coupe. So just put them to one side a second. And then one of my favourite Mustangs in my collection is from Auto World. Now I can't remember if this is a 71 or a 72. I think it's a 72 possibly. But and obviously by this point Mustangs have gone quite big. They really had piled on the pounds. But again, I like this body style mainly because of the original film, Gone in 60 Seconds, the original Gone in 67 movie, and they have a 71, I believe, in yellow, which goes on this really outrageous car chase, gets broken up and bashed around, smashed to pieces, and I think Auto World do a similar version to that. But I just like this version. I know to a lot of the Mustang purists, you know, by this point it had got huge. So again, being auto weld is to scale if you stick them. If I adjust the camera, so I don't think it's really doing it justice really, but it is bigger. It had piled on the weight, and I think this particular one, which is classed as they call it the Mach, was it the Mach 1 or Mark 1? And I think it's got the 351 cubic inch V8 in it. There we go. Like I said, great model, really nicely done. Very nicely done interior. Actual fact, if you follow the Auto Weld YouTube channel, this is exactly the same sort of thing as what the guy, when you see the beginning opening bit, he drives exactly the same car in this shade of colour, I believe. But it is a very cool piece. There you go, yeah, it does say 351. But and I know after about the after the 70s, sort of after 71, I think it was 73, they continued this body style on, and then they changed the body style to the next. Well, you're going to see it now. I'm going to show you quickly the difference between this body style and the I think it's the Mustang 2. So as you can see, there's obviously it shrank again. I believe there was some bit of a to do on at Ford. I can't remember exactly. Like I said, I'm not a Ford expert. There was a bit of a to do on, and they didn't like the fact that the Mustangs had got so big, and they wanted them to shrink down again. So that's exactly what they did with the Mustang 2. So anyway, let's get on and unbox this piece. So here we go. This is one of 45. It's 41 and 45. One of 4,500. There is the relevant information. If I get your phone to, there you go. There's the relevant information about how this transitioned again into the Fox body style in '79 and all that good stuff. And let's take a look at this 78 Ford Mustang Cobra 2. Oh, literally flew out the packet. And there it is. Give an extra zoom on, wrong button. There we go. And I've got to give it to Johnny Lightning, and they've done a nice job on this. It is very nicely done. Yeah, quite nicely done. So obviously, now if I get this right, before this version, I think, so the earlier Mustang 2s, which I will show now, so there you go. There was some of the earlier Mustang 2s you've seen there. There was all the different body styles you could get, and some of the general layouts of the ones that were before this or this similar style. But as far as I remember, they did away with the V8 engines for a while. They were only doing the smaller engines. I think they were doing this. I think most of them were like 2.8s, V6s and stuff like that. They weren't very quick, but the reason that was is because people didn't want to have such big cars anymore. They wanted, or sorry, should I say, such big engines because of the fuel crisis that was happening in the beginning and most of the way through the 70s. Higher taxes, and obviously at some points you could even get fuel. I've actually got another poster of that, actual fact. That was what it was like, you know, saying you were limited to a certain amount of fuel, and some stations even had out of fuel. So in the 70s, the Mustang 2 did really well. For sales, Ford did well sales-wise with the Mustang 2 because of that particular reason. But then as time went on, they did start to lose money, and they thought, I think there was a bit of an outcry as well for, you know, the fact that the engine was just so underpowered. So they decided to do, obviously, a slightly peppier, more powerful Mustang 2. So they bought out, I think there was the Cobra, and there was another one, I can't remember what it was called now. Was it the Mustang Pony? You have to bear with me, I can't remember, because I watched a documentary many years ago about Mustang's history, and to be honest, I've forgotten most of it, but I know there was another version. There was the Cobra, and there was something else, but the engines they put in, which I believe was a 302, I think it was a 302, which basically works out about a 5 litre. I think it was only something really silly, like 137 horsepower. Still wasn't a powerful engine, but it was obviously more powerful, and you know, obviously much more powerful than the V6 version, the 2.8 V6 version that was in the other earlier Mustang 2s. But it was still very heavily restricted by smog control and all of that stuff back in the day. So anyway, let's take a closer look at the actual car. So like I said, Johnny Lightning have done a great job on this. My only gripe with it is obviously they've got that rivet in there that's hanging down quite low, attaching the screen to the inside, which I think they could have done a little bit better job maybe, but still, you can't grumble. These cars don't cost a lot to buy, the models, but like I said, it is very nicely done. And do you know what? I actually don't think the Mustang 2 looks too bad, or this particular model, the Cobra, doesn't look too bad a car. I've looked them up on YouTube, and they don't sound too bad. But obviously, when you compare them to the, you know, the original Mustangs, so to speak, then obviously they're not a patch on what they were before, and I can see why people, you know, were a bit sort of didn't hold these in such high regard. I mean, if this was a separate car of its own, it would be a pretty cool car for that time period. So let's have a little look under the bonnet, if I can get it to open. So a little look. Can I get my fingernail underneath that? Yes. And there is the under bonnet detail. So like I said, this, as far as I'm aware of, is the 302 V8 version, I believe. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this. And there is the interior. You can see the interior quite well. And there's a close-up of the wheels, my fingerprints. I've just noticed that tyre has a Firestone on it, and that tyre has nothing. I wonder why that is. Ah, the tyre's inside out. That's pretty cool. So I will rectify that very briefly, bear with me. There you go, I'm back, and I've managed to swap it around. And they're quite fiddly wheels because they're little two-piece wheels. Pop it off and you've got a little disc in the front, and then you've got the actual disc of the wheel on the back, but I did manage to swap it round. And another interesting bit I found about these cars as well is apparently this particular curve bit apparently was a styling cue that they stole from the Porsche apparently, which again I'll show you briefly now. So yeah, so pretty cool. So anyway, that is my video for today. It's gone on for long enough. Bit different, I know. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but cool car nonetheless. Here's some of the other Mustangs, and we'll finish off with, if I can just zoom out a bit, we'll bring in this modern example. This is a more modern, up-to-date example, obviously in a racing livery. This is part of the Team Transport set, but I thought you couldn't leave out this. So that is obviously a lot later model, but there you go. Like I said, something a bit different. And like I said before, I'm not a Mustang expert. Trouble is with me, I've got a brain like a sieve, so I tend to watch stuff, remember the bits, and forget all the dates. But anyway, with that, please like, share, subscribe, stay tuned for more premium pieces, Monday Vintage Matchbox Mondays. Brain switched off them. Vintage Matchbox Mondays episode, sorry. And obviously Friday Night Customs. Well, I'll see you all very soon. Take care.